All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kilobots 40, presented to you here at Sask Expo by the Saskatoon Combat Robotics Club. Now we've got the big hitters. The next three coming up here are the 3-pound Beetleweights. These are the ones you waited to see because they're going to be loud, they're going to make a mess. Next in the Beetleweight category, we will have Brendan's Limb Lifter up against Albert's Dhanji. So Albert with Tiger Shark Robotics here, or Shark Tank Robotics, sorry. Tiger Shark is one of his robots. All of his lately have had the Mega something theme as a result of a previous robot that he had, Megalodon, which nobody could get the name right. And as a result has ended up in all kinds of ridiculous things. He has Mega London, which we'll see later on today, and he has Dhanji there today with these gigantic wedge-lit fingers on the front. Now these things tend to be useful against especially vertical spinners. It's kind of half wedge, but you can't really get a good grip on it if you're a vertical spinner, especially if you've got like a spinning disc or bar as opposed to having like a drum. But he has taken this to ridiculous extremes. Those are the longest wedgelets I have ever seen. So Albert's Dhanji in the blue corner there, big pusher against Limb Lifter. Being driven by Brendan over in the red corner here, joining us from Edmonton today. And this is a design he's used for a long time, but he's completely rebuilt it. I see he's using a bit sturdier of materials for it today, and got a nice, good, heavy lift on that arm. The arm completely rotates around 360 degrees, so he can use it to flip or pin his opponent. He can use it to self-right himself, or if his wheels aren't working, he can actually drive kind of with it. It's hilarious, you should see. I'm sure we'll get to see. All right, drivers, when you're ready, just hit your buttons. Drivers are ready, so we will start in 3, 2, 1, fight. All right, Dhanji, big green wheels there, and I know that thing is fast. Comes in, nice straight shot. Good job there. Hitting Limb Lifter to the side, who's using that lifter to just wildly flip himself out. It does work. You can see he can drive upside down as well, and he can still use the lifting arm upside down. Often doesn't work well with other lifting style robots. And there you go. You see the wedgelets in action. He's trying to get in there with that lifting arm, but he can't because it keeps riding up, either up on or in between the bits there of that wedgelet. The limb lifter's under Dhanji's, close to the red pushout. Now going for the blue one instead. He looks like he's able to get underneath the backside of the robot quite effectively. And not sure if he can lift him. He's having trouble pushing him when he's in that state, which makes sense because the robot is way out in front of the frame of the guy pushing, of Limb Lifter in this case. And as a result, kind of brings his own wheels off the ground as he's trying to push him around. Megalodon looks like he's maybe having a little bit of trouble driving this one. Like something might not be quite working right for him. 2 minutes still on the clock. Quite a pushing match on both sides, but as you can see, it's only going to take one good fast push to push him out the side. And there we go. Limb Lifter's got him. He's got him over the edge. Can he dispose of him? And he went over the side himself too. He is over the side. We'll pause the match. All right, and then we're going to go in there and break him up.
Double kill.
Yeah, so if both robots go out simultaneously, hands off the sticks, guys. If both robots go out simultaneously, then we will reset them back into here because there's got to be a winner. And we'll get the robots back into their corners.
So I got to be upside down?
Yeah, same configuration. So yeah, we'll just get them back into their corners and then we'll count them back in once they're ready.
Can you flip the robot over? He's upside down. Yeah. Okay. I might actually want to like... Is it? Well, there's no fixing, right? Yeah.
So drivers, once you're ready, you can tap back in and we'll start the countdown again. 3, 2, 1, fight. Minute 45, still on the clock. Limb Lifter coming in fast. Wow, I didn't realize that bot drove that fast. He's been sharking him this whole time. Gets under Dhanji again, this time towards the blue push out. Trying to get a push on him. Almost gets him there, but having a little bit of trouble pushing way out on the end of that lifter there. Of course, Megalodon wasn't able to do much in that position either. He was just absolutely stuck, so that's good. Minute 30 to go. Megalodon trying to get underneath, using those wedgelets, trying to get underneath the lifting arm of Limb Lifter. He manages to get into a pushing match there, but I think one half of his drive might not be working properly. He's definitely not able to drive as well as he'd like to, as Limb Lifter is pinning him up against the side there with that big, huge arm on the front. That thing's working really well at getting underneath of Mega Dhanji and getting underneath enough that he's actually able to lift him over to the side. There we go. He's got him there. Can he back out? Yes, he can. There we go. The win goes to Brennan with Limb Lifter. Well done.
So that's broken.
That's broken. Perfect. That's why he's not lifting him. It can't lift. But you know what? It made an excellent wedge. He was able to use it to direct his opponent around, get him off the side, and that's all that mattered to get a win. Now, last but certainly not least, we've got our last Beetleweight 3-pounder with Dennis's Utopia up against Matthew's Exercise Restraint. Now, in past years, Utopia has been the most destructive robot that we have had. It has won numerous competitions. These days, we've got a bit stiffer competition. It's lost its crown. Dennis is hoping to take it back, and so he has largely rebuilt both of his big vertical spinning drum robots, and he's hoping to be able to step it back up again and take back that win. He'll be going up against Exercise Restraint, which is also a vertical spinning drum style robot. This one is what we might call an egg beater or beater bar configuration. A lot easier to build really than the drums because you don't need a fancy mill or lathe or something like that. These can be cut flat and then you can tap holes in them and put the big teeth on them later. So a lot easier to manufacture, but still very effective. You can see the center part of it is completely milled out because we don't want the weight in the middle of the spinning weapon. We want it all around the outside where it contributes to the inertia and therefore the amount of momentum stored up inside of the robot for the same amount of weight at the same speed. And I recognize a lot of these parts. This looks like some of the work that FingerTech has been making some of these various attachments and weapons. Looks very similar to one that won a few years ago. Both Mamba and Black Adder had a very similar configuration and were very effective. We'll see how well it works in Matthew's robot here, Exercise Restraint. Both contenders are choosing to close their push-outs. Obviously, this is going to be a match to the death. They don't want any quick bounces out or anything like that. It's going to be all about ripping up their opponents. Now, one advantage that Dennis may have in this is that you can see he's got small wheels with big wheel guards around them, so it's going to be hard to take out his wheels. You're pretty much just going to have to either whip off those wheel guards, it's going to be really hard to do, or break the weapon or just hit him hard enough that he stops functioning. Whereas Exercise Restraint has big foam wheels on the outside, very much exposed, so a few good bites into those and he might chew through them enough or pop them off entirely. So that'll definitely be the one thing that Matthew will have to watch out for is try to make sure he keeps the weapon pointed towards his opponent, as you always wish to do. One thing he does have that might help him out is Matthew's Exercise Restraint has two little wedge-lit fingers at the front there. Those are useful for two things. One, they help try and keep your opponent in front of your weapon as opposed to sliding off the side. It also can be helpful for getting underneath the weapons of other opponents, so you can kind of hold them back, lift them out of the way, and then go in with your own weapon. All right, drivers are ready. We will start in 3, 2, 1, fight. Both drums spin up nice and fast. Oh gosh, Utopia just bouncing into that steel wall is already extremely loud, nibbling away at the plastic body there, and off goes the wheel just like that. Absolutely obliterates it. The Utopia's not going to stop there. He doesn't want a chance of winning on this one. Now riding around on top of Utopia. He's able to actually still move around with one wheel, and with the momentum of that spinning weapon, he can actually get it on one wheel and drive himself around the arena. So it is still possible, although difficult, but he has to get himself moving. And it looks like he's going for a tap out. Yeah, that is it. Tapped out. That is the end of the fight. And the win will go to Utopia. Congratulations, Dennis. Good call there by Matthew. Unfortunately, not a lot he's going to be able to do once he's got no wheel on that side, and you'd rather be able to keep your robot for the next fight because this is a double elimination tournament that we have here this weekend, so got to make sure you have an opportunity. And we're going to start with Dirk's Low Blow versus Caleb's Maul. So 3-pounders, these are the biggest ones that we drive here. Any bigger, and I don't think I would trust the arena to keep them in there. These things hit hard, and the Butcher is no exception. Low Blow. My mistake. They look a lot alike.
Yeah, he copied me.
I know he copied you. See, Dirk had the idea first. It worked really well. He might have copied somebody else who was really successful too. Looks an awful lot like something on BattleBots, don't you think?
Just a little.
But it's a very effective design. Horizontal spinning bars, you can make them large, you can spin them fast, and with enough armor, you can keep the rest of the robot alive. And yes, low blow can definitely hit things hard and survive. And it is going up against a new one here, Maul, being driven by Caleb. This thing looks absolutely nasty. It's got 2 vertical spinning bars, and unfortunately, a little bit rushed for time at the end. They're being held on by a 3D printed piece of plastic. So we'll see how long the weapon stays on for. It might be one big hit, we'll see. So each competitor has a push out on their side. It's up to them if they want to open or closed. In this case, we've got 2 big hard-hitting robots. Each one is hoping to win by destroying the other, so they'd actually prefer to have it closed. That way they can keep them in the arena and bust them up. If they're open, it's really good if you're a pusher or a wedge or a lifter, because now you can easily get your opponent out the side. But if you're a hard-hitting robot, you don't want to accidentally get flung out the side in the process of destroying your opponent. All right, both drivers are ready. We will start in 3, 2, 1, fight. Oh, jeez. Low blows so close to the wall there that when he spun up, he pushed himself into the wall. That is a big bar. Ooh, nick off the side there. And something is not quite working properly on there as low blow is eating through the weapon mount. Oh, and there goes the wheel. Oh my goodness. Now trying to go for the other wheel. At the moment here, Maul is not moving. It is up against the wall. There goes the other wheel. All right. I think Dirk's done. Or is he going to be mean about it? Unfortunately for Caleb, without any wheels, he's not going to be going anywhere. So he is counted out. And the win goes to low blow. Congratulations, Dirk. That was quick. That is what low blow does. Big, huge spinning bar. Nick the wheels a couple of times. You can rip them right off the shafts. That's exactly why he's got that robot. So in the red corner here, you can see Brandon's got Butcher in there. That is one heck of a hardened steel blade. It is huge. And it's a fairly nimble robot too. Works quite well. Oh goodness, that's Dempsey roll. Okay, so we were testing that out just before this round of fights. And it was regularly putting a chunk of steel, or aluminum I should say, into the ceiling with every hit. So if it gets a good bite, I think the Butcher is going to go flying. Conversely, if the Butcher gets a good fight, Dempsey roll is going to go flying. And I think that Butcher might be a little bit better armored. So it'll probably be a question of who gets the first hit. Dempsey roll might be able to win in one hit. Might need a few. The Butcher is probably only going to need one, but it'll have to get it. Horizontal spinners, they can hit almost anywhere on the robot and be very effective against them. A couple of downsides though, because they do tend to push themselves out of the way and they drive better in one direction than the other. Whereas vertical spinners put all of their energy directly into their opponent, but you got to make contact with them, and a lot of times they just nick them instead of actually sending them flying. Our drivers are ready, the judges are ready. 3, 2, 1, fight. And both of these very loud robots spinning up here. Butcher doing like a 720 as he tries to get his weapon spun up. He's trying to get in on Dempsey roll. Oh, there you go. Nice hard hit there by Dempsey roll on the backside of Butcher. Oh my goodness. So that was weapon to weapon. Dempsey roll goes flying upside down. Still driving, sort of, having trouble keeping it straight. A big chunk of the one wheel on Dempsey roll has gone missing. What you see there is that weapon just spinning over and over again. And, oh gosh. Is it going to stay in? It is, but now it's on top of the Butcher and it's lost a wheel. It is still moving. It's still dangerous. Butcher's not going to go in there unless he thinks he has to fight it. But our ref is not counting Dempsey out yet. Oh gosh. Okay, so we had wow. Knocking stuff off the roof. Butcher has lost its table. Unfortunately, Dempsey roll having trouble showing controlled movement here. Our ref is saying that she's good. Yeah. Ref's letting them go. It says they're both in it still. Wow, Butcher took a huge break there. Half of that arm support is gone. The entire belt is gone, so there's no weapon for Butcher. Dempsey roll, very difficult making any progress here. It's very much stuck against the wall, but that weapon is extremely dangerous still, as you can see. What was that? This weapon is unbelievable. I don't know what Dempsey's going to do here, though. Having trouble moving. Ref's still letting it go, but scratching his head. hard to say exactly. I mean, it's just enough movement that if she can control it, and she is making her way, actually both of them, I guess, it looks like Butcher's missing one whole half of the drive as well, so he's kind of wiggling himself around. But he's getting there. There's still over a minute to go, so either one could win. The weapon on Dempsey's working, and Andrea's actually, there you go, she's making progress. She's moving around. More than I would ever expect her to do. I can hear Butcher spinning his motor, but it can't do much, of course. There's no belt on it at all. Well, it's not you. Okay. Something's making weird noises. Oh. Oh, okay. Andrea's weapon's spinning weirdly somehow, too. So both weapons down. 45 seconds to go. They're both just wiggling around, so we get to watch this dance for about 45 seconds here until it goes to a judge's decision. It looks like they're now stuck on each other. Pause the match. We're going to unstick. So 30 seconds still to go. We could still see a big hit. I'm not sure who would be able to do it, but it could happen.
The Hazards.
The Hazards could win this match. Absolutely. My goodness. Yeah, your logo could be here. If you wish to sponsor us, you get to be seen by everybody at Expo. And believe me, we would greatly appreciate it, and we do greatly appreciate the help from all of our sponsors, because as you can imagine, running an event like this is not cheap.
That match has already cost us $100.
Yeah. All right, we're going to start them off again. 3, 2, 1, fight. 30 seconds still to go. Both of them are running up those motors, trying to get out of each other's way. I'm not sure which. Admittedly, it is going to be a judge's decision at the end of this, no question. So it will be about damage, aggression, and control. I think the damage has been shown. Now it's about aggression and control. And these guys are about as aggressive as a wet noodle can be at this point, because there isn't much else they can do. Butcher trying to get unstuck from underneath Andrea there. Oh, almost. Keeps getting hooked up in the wheel. 3, 2, 1, and time is up. All right, let's hear it both for Andrea and Brandon. My goodness, what a lot of destruction we saw in those robots. They both get to now go back to the pits and fix all the mess, but in the meantime, we're going to have the judges make their decision. Once again, 3 judges, 3 categories: damage, aggression, and control. And it's going to be a tricky one, I think. There was a lot of all 3 of those things for as long as the match could exist. There's pieces of both robots everywhere. Neither one, I think, was in any better shape. Both had lost their weapons, had lost half their drive, had big chunks broken. So damage-wise, I mean, there's just a lot of damage. Aggression and control, it's going to be up to the judges. I do not envy them at this point. This is why, as a big, nasty, hard hitter, you always want to try and win right off the bat, because the last thing you want to do is go to a judge's decision, especially when the robots tend to be quite hamstrung without their weapons. Oh boy, it was a close one, but it does end up being a unanimous decision. The win goes to the Butcher. Congratulations, Brandon. My goodness, so much damage. So Kat, also joining us from Florida, she's got Dr. Horrible. Oh, there it is. And yes, Kat, you are in the red corner here. Sorry, my mistake. Ah, this is not a kit, but this is a similar design, all the same. Seen a lot like these that are quite capable. And this one, again, has that horizontal or vertically spinning bar that is basically like an egg beater. And it's got some nice wedge arms on the front there for getting its opponent up and into the weapon. And then it's going up against Wilson over in the blue corner there. Also a vertical spinner, but this one has a spinning drum and has some very large wheeled guards all around the side, made out of some kind of polyethylene. So going to be a fairly durable plastic. You'll probably see shards of it getting worn off as it goes, but the whole thing should hold together despite losing chunks of bits. So Kat in the red corner with Dr. Horrible, the red bot there. Pierre in the blue corner with Wilson. All right, the drivers are ready. We will start in 3, 2, 1, fight. All right, both vertical spinners spinning right up to speed here. Wilson having a little bit of trouble maybe getting his spinning. Dr. Horrible bouncing around a bit. Something must not be quite balanced perfectly. Looks like that's making driving a little bit difficult. In the meantime, Dr. Horrible is fighting into the wedgelets on the corners there of Wilson, who's already doing a good job of wearing into them. Dr. Horrible bounced upside down to be a little bit harder to steer this way, but still a very dangerous weapon on the front there. It just bang into the ground. There we go, flipped right side up again, and again another big flip, this time completely over by Wilson. So Wilson's doing a good job of kind of tossing him around, flipping him around. Dr. Horrible said before that Cat was having some drive issues with this one, and looks like that is still the case. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get her weapon into the opponent, but as long as she can keep pointing the right way. Oh, still moving, but unfortunately, Wilson gets her up off her wheel. She's hooked over the side, and it looks like Pierre might be trying to be a little bit helpful. There we go, gets him knocked off there. Back on her wheels again, but still upside down. Now right side up, as Wilson just keeps tossing Dr. Horrible end over end. Definitely having some drive issues on Dr. Horrible. The weapon's there, but unless she can get it moving around, she might get counted out. But Pierre's being kind, or maybe not kind, I don't know, keeps hitting her with the weapon, so maybe not that kind, but going into her over and over again anyway. Losing little bits of that plastic outer body that makes up the wedge fingers and the wheel guards. Trying to get into her wheels. Unfortunately, unable to get a good bite with that drum, it would seem. It's kind of nibbling at things, but not doing a whole lot other than just tossing when it does manage to get a bit of a grip. Maybe needs to have a little bit more stick out on the weapon teeth or something like that. Dr. Horrible is certainly not going to slow down the weapon. This is the one thing she's got right now. But unfortunately, the drive is just not doing what she'd like. As Wilson tries to line up another good hit on the wheels. Flipping her upside down. It definitely makes a lot of noise when it hits the wall. That's no question. There we go, pushing her into the wall. Getting a bite on the wedgelets on the front there. Definitely managed to eat those up pretty good so far. Oh, a nice hard one again up into the corner as she's kind of hung up on wheels and weapon into the wall. Absolutely sitting duck here as Pierre comes behind again with Wilson nicking at the back end of the robot. The one thing you can see happens with these spinners here is they spin so fast that they don't really get a good bite. They just kind of nick and bounce off of each other. In order to get a good bite, often you either want your weapon slower or you want to run at them at high speeds, just like that. If you run in, you can get more engagement on the tooth and it actually grabs and tosses them as opposed to simply nibbling away at them. 10 seconds still on the clock, both of them weapon spinning, very dangerous. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time is up. All right, weapons off, guys. Time is up. Good job to both Kat and Pierre there with Dr. Horrible and Wilson. This will go to a judge's decision. Once again, damage, aggression, and control are the key things that we are looking for here. Unfortunately for Kat, without having the drive working, kind of difficult to show either aggression or control. Was a little bit of damage on both sides, but nothing terrible. Definitely see a lot of nicks and scratches and stuff out of them, especially on those wedgelets, which is exactly why those little wedge fingers are there. You'd rather your opponent hit those instead of hitting something that is really important to you. Give our judges another few seconds here to make up their minds. And it's unanimous. The win will go to Wilson. Congratulations, Pierre. All right, so Insanity versus Hoot is coming up. These are in the 3-pound Beetleweight class. Insanity being driven by Andrew and Ethan driving Hoot. So both of these ones that we have coming up here are vertical spinners. Insanity has been around for quite some time and has one heck of a big, was this drum on the front? Oh yeah, beater bar. All of Andrew's things have a TI at the end of the name, Insanity in this case, because everything's made with lots of titanium. I don't know how the man affords it, but he does a good job building with it. And it's going up against Hoot. This one looks very familiar. I swear I've seen this robot here before. Might have even won a championship. That's not Mamba, is it?
It's not Mamba.
It's not Mamba? Oh, okay. I mean, it kind of looks like Mamba. I guess it's called Hoot. That's what the name on the tape says. Oh, yeah. So this is a different take on this. I don't think I've ever seen this before, but Andrew, his chassis is actually welded as opposed to bolted together. I can see that being advantageous in some ways. I mean, why waste weight on extra bolts and stuff like that? On the other hand, welds do have a tendency to break. You can weld titanium? Didn't even know.
If you know the right people have deep left pockets.
There you go. Apparently he knows people and has money. That's how he's able to do it. Excellent. All right, both of the drivers are ready. Oh, we're ready. 3, 2, 1, fight. Oh my gosh, Insanity spins up fast. Wow, weapon to weapon, that is a hard hit. And I hear something spinning, but nothing coming out. I think Mamba's weapon is now busted. And Mamba's up against, sorry, I should say Hoot. It even says not Mamba. But unfortunately, Hoot is stuck in the corner. And Insanity has a knockout. Excellent job there, Andrew. My goodness, one hard hit and completely destroyed something in the weapon area. I could see it like twitching, but it was just spinning around and then hooked against the wall. Just an unfortunate landing.
Did I break him? Oh, him? I think he's fine.
Yeah. Did I break him at least? No, I think he's good. We'll have a couple more Beetleweights here. Now we're going to have Unknown Avenger being driven by David up against Excalibur driven by Brandon. So David has Unknown Avenger here in the red corner. This one has 2 wedge fingers and a big, well, wedgelets, I guess I should say, and then a big lifting wedge arm. This thing's pretty neat. That is one of the hardest, strongest lifting arms I have seen yet. Looks like it's quite well attached there, got fairly beefy. I think he's using double-sided tape on his wheels. Does it work?
Oh no, it's body paint.
Oh, it's body paint. Oh, interesting. Oh, latex. Yes, of course. So the foam wheels are actually really useful because of the fact that they're very lightweight. You can take chunks out of them and it doesn't matter. And they're cheap when you have to replace them, which you will have to replace them. On the other hand, the foam doesn't grip the ground that great. It's pretty good, but it's not perfect. Latex wheels tend to be better. And so for this one here, he's got a little bit of latex embedded in the surface of it so that you get all the benefits of foam while still having the grippiness of latex. And then Excalibur over in the blue corner there being driven by Brandon. That thing is fast with a lot of magnets and some big fingers on the front. Both of them are ready to go. We will start in 3, 2, 1, fight. And Excalibur coming straight in, going straight under, because that's exactly what those little wedge fingers are meant to do. Again, you can see they've got little forks on the top of them. I think that's going to be a combination of holding his opponent from getting all the way up, because it hooks on the opponent as he ramps up on it, as well as trying to make sure that they don't fly wildly out to the side and get stuck underneath him, which has happened in the past. Excalibur definitely the better pusher here, my goodness. He's probably got like 10 pounds of downforce with all the magnets in there. And doing a good job of directing Unknown Avenger around the arena here. Although I do think Unknown is a bit faster. Still though, gonna have to do something to push back. As Excalibur bounces into the blue hazard several times, barely even getting pushed back by the hazard. That says something for how much force is in there. Now David is taunting him, trying to use the lifting arm, but all of that magnet force that these Weed brothers are known for, there's just no way you're gonna get that thing off the floor. He had a similar one a few years ago that I actually had to take like a big pry bar to lift it off the floor because I couldn't lift it by hand. That much magnet sometimes. Just under 2 minutes to go. Excalibur getting a good hook there on the front of Unknown Avenger. Those little wedge fingers doing a great job of getting around, well, the other wedge fingers on Unknown Avenger. And definitely just pushing him corner to corner, side to side. Excalibur are definitely able to get underneath its opponent, now pushing him towards the outside edge. Now the problem here is how does he get him off? If only he had some kind of a... Oh no! He has put himself too far, and Unknown Avenger has him stuck over the edge. I mean, technically he's helpless. There he is. Now he's completely over the side. Oh goodness, sorry Brandon, but the win goes to David with Unknown Avenger. Who would have thought? That is the tricky thing with these pushing matches. Whether you're a lifter, flipper, pusher, is just that you've got to try and get them to that outside edge and push them off. And as you're trying to do that, you can definitely find yourself slipping over the edge. The next one coming up here is Dennis with Utopia versus Dirk with Low Blow. Unlike the other two, these guys are not pushers, lifters, flippers. These guys are both hard-hitting weapons. They're going to be loud. They're going to make a mess. One of them may end up in pieces. One way or another, it's going to make a big bang. Earlier on today, Low Blow was very effective at ripping apart opponents. Lots of hard hits. And Utopia is known for doing exactly that. I think there still might be a few holes in the roof from previous opponents that managed to get launched off of that big spinning drum. Utopia's drum spins vertically, which is kind of like a good hard uppercut. When it does make good contact with the opponent, it just sends them straight up in the air. Usually ends up resulting in them falling hard and breaking. And low blow on the other side, on the other hand, has the horizontal spinning bar. And that one also able to throw opponents. Tends to do more damage to the sidewalls and get a lot better bite, but does have a tendency to throw itself in the process and sometimes launch itself out of the arena. Judges ready?
1, 2, Brandon's coming.
Wait.
All right, everybody's ready. We will start off the fight in 3, 2, 1, fight. And immediately, both of these loud monsters spinning up. Oh my goodness. Low blow's weapon hitting the wall again and again as Utopia giving him no time to try and get oriented. He just keeps throwing his weapon into that big, huge spinning bar, which so far is taking the brunt of the blows here. I'm surprised that it's still working as well as it is because it got hit a lot there. Once again, Utopia going weapon on weapon. Usually not what he'd want to do. I think he'd prefer to hit the body, but you know, you got to hit what's in front of you. And he'll hit anything at this point. The armor on the right side of low blow is starting to become disconnected as I saw a few chunks come off. Starting to expose one of the wheels, and Utopia trying to hit that soft side yet again. Only 45 seconds in, and already low blow showing a lot of damage. Uh-oh, that push out was not closed properly. Uh-oh. I don't think Utopia wants that, but it might just work out for him in the end as he does manage to push low blow over. The win goes to Dennis and Utopia. Congratulations. My goodness. Yeesh. That was ridiculous. Dennis is as much shocked as everybody else. All right, great job there to both competitors. They both hit very hard, but luckily for Dennis, Utopia managed to get the win on that one. The last Beetleweight we'll have coming up here is going to be Brandon versus Brendan. You know I'm going to get those backwards as we go. Brandon is driving Reckoning, and Brendan is driving Limb Lifter. And that's the last time I'll say either of their names. Reckoning versus Limb Lifter. Reckoning here looks similar sort of design to the Utopia that was just up. Again, another hard-hitting vertical spinning drum. But this one created quite differently. The armoring and the actual construction on the inside, very different because we've got a different builder for that. And then in the blue corner, oh, that's what happened. It broke. What, the right side holding at least? Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. All right, well that explains why the door opened. It broke. The left side is smashed. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got pushed over.
We were wondering why the heck the door opened in the last fight. Well, it's pretty clear that one side of the hinge is completely gone. That's how hard those robots hit. Completely broke the side door. Thankfully, there's 2 latches, so we'll use the other one. Yeah. So yes, Brandon over in, I said I wouldn't say his name, but Reckoning over in the red corner here. Another vertical drum spinner. And going up against Limb Lifter, which this time has 1 limb and a... oh, that looks sad. I'm sure it'll be effective, but it looks sad. Instead of using his lifting arm, which probably would get ripped up pretty quickly, he instead has a hinged chisel on the front. And he's going to hope to put that into his opponent's weapon. Now, considering his opponent has 2 belts dead center that are spinning that weapon, this might just work for him. I think it's a Hail Mary, but we'll see what happens. If nothing else, hopefully he can at least hit him with something. Both drivers are ready. The judges are ready. 3, 2, 1, fight. Oh my goodness. So this one, even a higher speed weapon than Utopia's, which should mean it has more damage in it. More energy to be able to do more damage. So far, though, that chisel is holding up well. I can't believe it. Now, Limb Lifter did leave his side open. He wants to try and push Brandon out there. Try and push Reckoning out there, and he did get him close, but the Reckoning's driver here, Brandon, is very good at controlling his robot. And that chisel is now just scraping the logo off of the floor. Good, nice low wedge on that thing. And the fact that it's hinged is working very well for him too. Now using his lifting limb to try and flip himself back over. Unfortunately, that has now exposed the top to the weapon of Reckoning, which is just grinding away at it. He's going to try and get him off of there as best as he can. I think he's going to try and push him over the edge. That might not be a good idea. He had a change of heart there as Limb Lifter came loose. He didn't want to be the one going out. Doing a good job, though, of keeping control of this here. So Limb Lifter in a bit of a precarious position. He wants to try and flip himself back over, but he's not really getting a chance to use it. That arm is looking a little bit wrecked. In the meantime, Reckoning just keeps going in and hitting again and again, taking advantage of that hard spinning weapon. A minute 40 still to go. There goes the lifting arm. So now he's not going to be able to self-right at all. He can still drive, so he's still in it. But what he'll be able to do from here, I don't know. And Reckoning trying to push Limb Lifter into a position where he's not able to recover. He does have a completely flat side on him, because normally he'd have an arm on there. So if he can get him up on his side, he'll be stuck. And it does look like that's what he's trying to do with him. But it's kind of hard to do. Especially since, of course, Limb Lifter's not going to sit there and wait for him to do it. Spinning down the weapon a bit. I think he's going to try and get a little bit of better engagement. Yeah, there you go. Nice. So a tricky thing with these spinning weapons, the faster they go, the more energy is stored up in them. And that would mean a harder hit. But every time it comes around, you need to be able to hit your opponent. Uh-oh, looks like he's off his wheels. Limb Lifter is sitting on something. Oh, that's smoke coming out of Reckoning. All right, this is the technical knockout, so the win goes to Reckoning. Congratulations, Brandon. And just in time, too, because he started smoking on that last one. I think he might have overheated a motor in there, but he did make it through. So this is a 3-pound. These are the big, heavy-hitting ones. And the Butcher, aptly named, has a tendency to rip robots apart. Pierre's loading up Wilson over in the blue corner there, which he has just recently augmented because in the previous fight, those plastic forks at the front took quite a beating. So now he's added on the titanium versions that he has, which is going to be important because the Butcher is a horizontal spinning bar, a very heavy one, and it will very quickly eat through the weapon supports that are on the front of that robot there. So hopefully that titanium armor will help hold it together for at least a little while, long enough for him to get in there with the vertical spinning drum. So one thing to notice about Wilson is that it's got a plastic body all around the outside, very good for keeping it lightweight and easy to build, and a good thing that it's covering up the wheels, but unfortunately, it also comes to pieces very quickly, especially against a saw like the Butcher, this big spinning bar. So I'm expecting for chunks of it to come off very early in the fight, as long as he can hopefully try and keep the butt end of it away from the weapon on Butcher, but it's going to be hard to do because it's still a fast-moving robot as well. Judges ready? All right, we will start it off in 3, 2, 1, fight. Both of them spinning up there. See Butcher actually getting pushed aside by the momentum of its own weapon there. And Wilson trying to get around the weapon on Butcher. Bit of a gambit there. Butcher just barely nicking the side of Wilson, but easily cutting through that plastic on the side. Here really wants to make sure he goes weapon to weapon, and he did there. Excellent. 2 sparks coming off. And already those titanium wedgelet pieces are helping to protect the weapon for sure. Oh, all right. Butcher spun down on that one. Pierre taking advantage of the situation, directing him into the wall, keeping him busy, not giving him a chance to spin up the weapon. And is it spinning? There it is. Okay, he is able to get it going. And Wilson maybe having some drive trouble. My goodness. Oh no, and the Butcher is stuck on its side. How fortunate for him, because look at the big gap in the side of Wilson. And time is up. Wilson, the Butcher's knocked out. The win goes to Wilson. Congratulations, Pierre. Whew. Dodged a bullet on that one.
It was a rematch from Maker Faire.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely dodged a bullet on that one because, my goodness, look at that big gash from one hit on the side of the wheels there. But unfortunately for Brandon, just landed wrong after falling. All right, so over in the blue corner, David is just getting Unknown Avenger set up. This one here is 4-wheel drive, got a multi-piece wedge on the front, and then a big finger arm thing on the top. Now, I think earlier on, this thing had an aluminum arm that was sticking out, and didn't have the extra wedge on the front, but now he's got what looks like a 3D printed plastic of some sort, maybe some nylon or something like that, as a finger arm on top. And then he's got a much heavier wedge in the front. So I think he's trying to adjust his robot to go up against Insanity, which is being driven by Andrew in the red corner, which is a big vertical spinning bar, what we call an egg beater bar, so very much like a drum. Wide, lots of energy in it, hoping to rip his opponent apart, definitely going to be able to flip him end over end, but I think that what David's hoping to do here is to put that additional armor on the front to be able to tank the hits, and then maybe use that finger to, I don't know, push him around, drag him. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to do. Get eaten. That's probably what's going to happen in the end, but hoping to be able to win a bit of a pushing match here. He is leaving the push out on the blue side there open, so I'm pretty sure that's his hope, is to try and get him out the side. In the meantime, Insanity is just going to want to get a few really good hard hits in there and hopefully disable his opponent. All right, both the drivers are ready. The judges are ready. We will start in 3, 2, 1, fight. Oh my goodness, that is just absolutely instant. Lots of noise, lots of sparks. Grinds very well. Hasn't been able to get a good bite in yet, and as I say that, he does, and goes flying all the way across into the red corner. Another hard hit. Oh my goodness, almost out. David was already celebrating that hit, but bounced back. Went out and bounced back in before he even hit the ground. I see a screw loose. Ooh, geez, David, that was close. And his wedges are just wide enough to get around Insanity. That is impressive. Like, I don't know if he was out there with a measuring tape beforehand, but he's got something working there. In the meantime, I see some sparks coming off the side of Insanity. It looks like something is grinding over by where the belt sprocket cam thing is. Oh, geez, another hard hit. I can't believe the arm is still on top of Unknown Avenger. And now there's a lot less noise coming out of Insanity. I think that's probably a good thing. It's now upside down, however, which means the weapon is spinning towards the floor, not where he wants it. Oh, up on side, but managed to get back down again. Now he is, still upside down. Still not able to get the kind of force that he wants, because he wants to be able to hit from underneath his opponent and flip him up. Oh, and now he is right-sided. There you go. Now he's back where he wants to be. An entire portion of the front end of Unknown Avenger has come apart. David looking very scared and very serious. Almost managed to push Insanity back towards the wall there. Another hard hit as he goes bouncing off that big wedge. My goodness, that thing is taking a beating. As he gets in front of the leftover piece from Unknown Avenger. Still a minute 20 to go. I can't believe how well this is holding up. Certainly Insanity should have taken him to pieces by now, but Insanity seems to be getting a little bit stuck on something. Being held in the wall. Check out that aggression, huh? You want to get the finger? I'll hit you with it. I think he might be, I think he was trying to put it into the weapon. Now he's lost it. The tip off of it anyway, but definitely not able to get good grip. Oh, there we go. As soon as because of gyroscopic precession from that spinning weapon, over the side he goes and out. And the win goes to Unknown Avenger. Congratulations, David! Oh my goodness.
What a fight.
And you know, that's what you have to do against those big spinning weapons, is just survive.
You can't whip.
At some point they will go out the side on their own, but surviving through that kind of carnage is very difficult. So well done to David. That's a very hardy robot. And good job just staying in the right position to allow something like that to happen. The next Beetleweight fight we will do is Excalibur versus Hoot. And Hoot is totally not Mamba. That's what the sticker says. Excalibur is a heavy robot. Well, not heavy, they're all 3 pounds in this weight category, but actually it's only like 2 pounds as far as I know. It's very low, and it's got a lot of magnets that hold it down to the ground. And this makes it very difficult to lift or to flip or to throw in any way, and makes it very capable of pushing, because how hard you can push forward depends on how far or how hard you're being pushed downwards. So by adding in all those magnets, it gets attracted to our steel floor, gets a lot more pushing power. And he's got some long, well, he did have long fingers on the front. Now he's got a different style of wedgelets, ones that are made more for pushing than for wedging, which is probably a good idea because he's going to be going up against, oh yes, I see, he's going up against Hoot. Hoot, totally not Mamba. is a vertical spinner, a big beater bar, and so he's going to want something that's not going to get jammed in the weapon and be very easy to grab on the weapon, because that'll just make the weapon that much more effective. Instead, he's got ones that are kind of rounded concave. So what he's hoping to be able to do is have them just ride inside of the weapon. And that'll give him an opportunity to be a pusher for just long enough to get outside. So Brandon with the interchangeable weapons on the front, trying to strategically choose how to go up against his opponent. Hopefully for Mamba's sake, it's in a bit better shape than it left before, although it's Hoot. I'm sorry, not Mamba. Hoot. So Ethan was one of the original organizers and participants in this club, going way back to their days at the University of Saskatchewan. Now he is doing his own thing and is in BC at this point, I think, making the rounds. But still comes back home to join us for this because, hey, this is a lot of fun. Oh, that weapon sounds great. And by that I mean Grady. All right, both drivers are ready. Judges look like they're ready. 3, 2, 1, fight. Up to speed. And as you can see, sure enough, those little wedges doing exactly what they're supposed to do. The weapon is kind of bouncing off of them and gives him a chance to push his opponent into a wall. He's hoping to be able to get a bit of a pushing match here. Excalibur wants to get him over to the red side for that push out, but it's going to be a little hard to get around. Uh-oh, the wheel has come out of Hoot. I seem to remember that being a problem before. That's going to make it difficult for him to drive. And I don't think the left side's working either. Oh yeah, he doesn't have drive on either side. The right wheel is out, the left wheel is not operating. And he is knocked out. The win will go to Excalibur. Congratulations, Brandon. Oh, darn. Very unfortunate for Hoot. I do seem to remember Mamba having trouble with that wheel before. Looks like now it's Hoot's problem. We're going to start off with Kat driving Dr. Horrible up against Andrea with Dempsey Roll. Earlier this weekend, Dempsey Roll has proven itself to be absolutely destructive. Actually broke part of the inside of our arena. Thanks for that, Andrea. But impressive. We do take chunks and stuff out of here, as you can imagine, with all these dangerous things. Maybe on the left side. But usually not to the extent where it actually completely breaks the arena. So this is definitely a dangerous weapon. As long as it can hold itself together for the match, I'm sure it'll be a formidable opponent. Thankfully for Dr. Horrible, it is also quite a powerful robot. This has a big horizontal spinning bar in the front, what we call an egg beater bar, kind of another version of a drum, but a little bit easier to manufacture. And this is going to be quite a fast bot. You can see it's already taken quite a beating throughout the event. I see a few screws loose on it and lots of paint chipped off, but functioning well, hopefully all the same. So Kat's Dr. Horrible, the red bot over in the red corner there. And then Andrea loading in Dempsey Roll right now in the blue corner. You can see this thing is basically a weapon on wheels. There's not a whole lot of weight dedicated to anything other than just that big steel spinning bar in the middle. The rest of the frame is largely plastic. There's some aluminum tubes holding the motors in the ends. Very fragile if it was to get hit anywhere near the wheels, but hopefully it won't have that opportunity, because that big weapon in front probably only needs a couple of good hits to completely end its opponent. All right, the drivers are ready. We'll start with 3, 2, 1, fight. Both of these angry things spinning up. Dr. Horrible a little off balance after some of those previous fights, but still a very dangerous spinning weapon. Trying to find a way to get around that big spinning disc on Dempsey Roll. Dempsey Roll not moving very well at the moment, giving Dr. Horrible a chance to try and come in and get something. Unfortunately, it looks like Andrea might not have control of Dempsey Roll at the moment. It's not working quite properly as the ref is counting down 10 seconds to show control movement. Unfortunately, Dempsey Roll has stopped functioning and is knocked out, so the win will go to Dr. Horrible. Congratulations, Kat. And not a moment too soon, because already you can see just from a single hit that frame armor on the top of Dr. Horrible getting peeled up, one whole screw ripped out of it. It wasn't going to be able to take a few more hits before that whole thing was going to come apart. But unfortunately, something not working properly in Dempsey Roll. Looks like an electronics issue. It's not responding properly. So Caleb has Maul here in the red corner that he's loading up. This has a vertical spinner with 2 big bars on it. And as a result of that, there's a big gap in the middle, but that gives him a lot of room to hide that big belt that is connecting it. So hopefully the belt won't be in a dangerous position. Oh, that Maul character. It was nice knowing it. Because it's also going up against a spinning weapon. This one here in the blue corner being driven by Matthew is Exercise Restraint, and it is a vertical spinning drum. This is what we might call a beater bar style one. So instead of a cylindrical drum, it's made out of a flat piece that has the center milled out of it. A little bit easier to build, but still just as effective. Just be a moment here as we get the electronics sorted out. One problem that we do run into sometime with the transmitters and receivers is that when you power them up, they have to find each other. And with all the other robots and other things in the building, it sometimes doesn't always work. It's like your computer at home. You gotta reboot it a couple of times. So both of these very vicious vertical spinning weapons, quite different designs, both with exposed wheels, which is gonna be a problem for each of them, especially with those hard-hitting weapons. Those wheels are gonna pop off pretty easily with a hard hit. So it's probably going to be a question of who gets the first really good hit in. All right, drivers are ready. Judges are ready. We will start the fight in 3, 2, 1, fight. Oh, Maul's weapon is jiggling but not spinning up. Maybe if he puts it into his opponent, he'll be able to jumpstart it. In the meantime, Exercise Restraint is spinning but not very fast. Again, having a little bit of trouble with something in there, but both driving quite well. I said that just as he got stuck on the floor. It looks like Exercise Restraint might be sliding a bit. There goes, oh no. It wasn't nearly as powerful as it looked on TV. Poor Maul. Uh-oh, and yeah, definitely the weapon is a little bit ajar there on Exercise Restraint. It's grinding against something and not able to spin up quite properly. So I don't know if either of them has a weapon capability for this fight. Caleb really hoping he can get it spun up, if only he can bang it against something perhaps. Sometimes that does help. On the other hand, might just be busting himself up. And Exercise Restraint, yeah, trying to get it going, but as you can see, it's just wiggling back and forth. That's the poor little brushless motor trying to get synchronized and get everything spun up, but something is jamming it and preventing it from being able to get to the correct speeds. Caleb really just trying to get that thing spinning. Unfortunately, I think it's probably wedged pretty hard in there. It doesn't look like it's freewheeling very well. And the motor doesn't seem to be doing anything against it. So a bit of a pushing match between the two heavyweights here, or Beetleweights in our case, as neither one, unfortunately, has a weapon that is fully functioning at the moment. Both are going to try to push each other if they can here. It looks like, oh yeah, sure enough, Maul ends up bouncing into the red hazard as they get into a bit of a pushing match over by there. Oh, weapon almost went up for a moment there, but then Maul manages to hold it flat for a moment and prevent it from spinning again. Yeah, Matthew definitely having a lot of trouble driving it around. I can see the wheels are spinning at high speed, but something's dragging on the ground, preventing it from being as mobile as it ought to be. And Maul's wheels also a little bit wobbly. Both of these guys have seen previous fights already today, so not in 100% form. Oh, yes. Yeah, they've had a hard time already. Now down to 30 seconds left on the clock. Both of them trying to push against each other. Looks like Exercise Restraint kind of able to hold Maul up against the wall there. At least get in the way to prevent him from backing out. As Maul's trying to get out and around of that blue hazard there. Unfortunately, neither of them is quite mobile enough to be an effective pusher. Just under 10 seconds still to go. 3, 2, 1, and time is up. That's the end of the match. Good job driving, both to Caleb and Matthew. Let's hear it for them. Certainly not easy to drive these things, especially limping along as they are. So now it's going to go to a judge's decision. And once again, damage, aggression, and control are the three categories that we consider. And unfortunately, with both of these robots just not functioning the way they ought to, that's going to be a hard decision.
Let's say 6 o'clock because that's 40 minutes. Anything's not ready. Comes up. It's with the green. We better tell people who's fighting so they know to get ready.
So we'll just give our judges a moment here. If you want to see more fights like the ones you've seen today, including some really crazy hard-hitting ones from the past, you can check out kilobots.com, our website. And you can also see our channels. There's both FingerTech Robotics and Need More RCs. Both of them have lots of video of the last 15 years of combat that have been put on by the Saskatchewan Combat Robotics Club.
Split decision.
All right, it's a split decision, but the win will go to Exercise Restraint. Congratulations, Matthew. Yeah, that was a hard one to judge. Neither knew what to expect off of that because, I mean, there's just only so much you can do in that situation. So Albert's Mega Dhanji over in the red corner here, a design based on a similar one driven by Brendan called Limb Lifter. It's got an arm that can go 360 degrees around the robot, but it doesn't move apparently, Albert's telling me. It's taken a few beatings already. Instead, he's got a little extra armor on the front of it there, trying to be able to take some, absorb some hits off of the big horizontal spinning disc that is Nightwing. Mega Dhanji is a very fast driving robot. Albert likes his S's and he puts lots of them into these robots. Hopefully that'll allow him to outmaneuver Nightwing, but he is up against one of the best drivers in our group here against Curtis. Although Curtis is not maybe confident in Nightwing. This is one of his more experimental robots. He originally brought this to our previous nationals where the disc refused to stay on the robot. Now the disc has proven to be a bit more reliable, but still very dangerous for both robots because this thing is so low and rubbing against the ground, I see. We're not sure what's going to happen to it, but it'll probably be exciting. Both drivers are ready. We'll start in 3, 2, 1, fight. And Nightwing promptly failing to get the motor started as Mega Dhanji wastes no time trying to get underneath and prevent him from getting the weapon working. Oh, he's pushing it to the side. Look at this. He's got his side push out. He's hooked, though, on one of the little fingers on the top of his own wedge, which he was hoping to be able to use to hold his opponent. So instead, he will just simply try to grind them into the side. Does manage to put him over the side. The win quickly goes to Albert with Mega Dhanji. Unfortunately for Curtis, couldn't get that weapon spun up, and Albert knew exactly what he was going up against, had planned a robot designed for that with his side push out open, hoping for just that quick grab and push out the side to win. Without that, I think he might have been in a lot of trouble, because if Nightwing got spun up, it would have been very difficult for him to stay in one piece.
What is it, you nerf?
Next up, we will have Brandon with Reckoning against Dennis with Utopia. Both Reckoning and Utopia are vertical drums spinning style robots. Both have been very effective so far. Once again, Dennis's Utopia has won many competitions in the past, although he has recently rebuilt both of his robots, so we'll see if this one is hopefully as powerful and reliable as his previous offerings. Up against Brandon's Reckoning, this is a new build for him, but all of the things that he builds are very clean and strong, usually quite a lot of magnet downforce on them as well, so not this time, he says, surprisingly. So we will see which one ends up having the better drum here. Will it be Brandon's first big drum spinner, or will it be Dennis's highly optimized... Oh, I guess he had scary thing. That's just...
This is a little drum.
This is just a little drum spinner. Yeah, that thing was just a weapon on wheels. And we'll see how that goes up against Dennis's Utopia.
Yeah, scary thing was just some small forgettable.
Oh, yeah. It was an experiment, prototype. Both those drums sound beautiful. Both drivers are ready. We'll begin in 3, 2, 1, fight. Oh my goodness. Brandon going straight up to full speed as Utopia puts his weapon into the wall there. Utopia bouncing, oh my goodness, putting Reckoning all the way into the roof. My gosh. And again, Reckoning going straight to the roof, bouncing off of the red hazard. That was his own weapon putting him up there. So much energy in it. Now going toe-to-toe. Utopia's weapon seems to be possibly failing on him here as Reckoning is hitting it again and again, trying to take as much damage into it as he can, hitting it from behind and now underneath. Reckoning wasting no time trying to take out as much of Utopia as he can. Utopia now up on side, but he is able to spin himself around using his weapon. Reckoning grinding into the back of him, hoping to try and get a catch on it so he could throw him over. Now just in a big pushing match, but Utopia seems to maybe be a bit stuck, having some trouble getting movement going. Reckoning backing off because now the ref is counting him down. He's got 10 seconds to show controlled movement. If he can't, it will be a technical knockout. Reckoning just making a terrible noise. And time is up. Unfortunately, Dennis is not able to get control of his robot, so Reckoning wins. Congratulations, Brandon. Wow. My goodness, Brandon's absolutely shaking after this fight here. And poor Dennis looking hopelessly at his robot, like what just happened to this thing? Luckily for Brandon, he was trying to ramp it down there, but decided, you know what, I don't want to turn this thing off because I'm not sure if it'll turn back on afterwards. Wow, what a bunch of big hits. We're definitely going to need a minute to clean up the arena after that. There's chunks of probably parts of the roof on the floor I see there, and plenty of plastic from the walls. Once we get that cleaned up, we will go to Pierre with Wilson against David with Unknown Avenger, the last of our Beetleweights for this round. In the red corner, you can see Pierre's Wilson. This is a vertical spinning egg beater bar style, kind of like a drum. And it's got big plastic panels running around the outside to try and protect the wheels, as well as a recent addition of some titanium wedge-lit finger things around the side of the drum to try and make sure that the big plastic supports are not going to be chewed up too fast. And you can see some large gouges in the side of that from a fight that it narrowly won against Butcher earlier on in this series. In the blue corner, David is setting up Unknown Avenger. This one is quite a configurable robot. He's got a big heavy wedge on the front right now, which he uses to try and tank the hits from the big spinning drum, as well as a plastic finger on top that he can move around. To what end, I'm not exactly sure, but hopefully he's got a plan for it, because he'll need something to put up against Wilson's weapon if he intends to beat him in this fight.
It's a self-rating mechanism.
You'll also note that David has his push-out open on the side. That's likely going to be his strategy, is to try to push his opponent out the side before he gets destroyed. Often effective against these spinners because the spinners have a tendency to knock themselves out. All right, the drivers are ready. Let's start this thing off in 3, 2, 1, fight. All right, Wilson spinning up, got a little bit of power there. I'm not sure if it's spun low or just a really quiet, smooth little motor on there, but trying to get some positioning here around Unknown Avenger. He doesn't want to go directly into the wedge if he can help it. Hitting into the little wedge fingers on the side. Those things are very heavy as David nearly drives himself out in his pushing match against Wilson. Unknown Avenger is a very fast-moving robot, but also has a tendency to really skid and slide around. But thankfully, David seems so far to be able to control it quite well, even though he's been precariously close to those push-outs, getting into a big pushing match and pushing Wilson into the red side, which is currently closed, now pivoting around him, trying to get a good push on it, but Wilson able to keep turning so that Unknown Avenger unable to push him out the side. Unfortunately for Wilson, Unknown Avenger very fast and David quite a good driver, so having trouble being able to get that weapon in there. And you can see something about that big heavy wedge on the front is enough to keep the weapon of Wilson away from it so that that drum's actually not even making contact most of the time. Unknown Avenger getting under him, pushing him into the corner, wiggling his finger at him. I mean, that'll do some damage, right? Hitting him in the corner for up to 10 seconds here. That is one of the rules we have. You can't hold them for any more than 10 seconds, but it is useful to show control throughout the fight if you're able to pin them like that. In case it does go down to a judge's decision, which they're really hoping it won't. I'm sure both of them would prefer to just get an easy, clean win. A minute and a half still to go in this 3-minute fight. Wilson trying to get out of the corner, but David just getting around on both sides of him again and again, not allowing him to make a whole lot of progress. And as you can see, on a face-to-face match, normally that's where these drums would shine, but David pushing towards the blue push-out, doing exactly what he needs to do. The win goes to Unknown Avenger. Congratulations, David. A big part of that win was simply driving skill and experience. He was able to direct his opponent around, and even though he didn't directly push him out, he got him into a position where he had no choice but to end up backing out. And we're going to go with Exercise Restraint, which is driven by Matthew, against Limb Lifter, driven by Brendan. Limb Lifter over in the blue corner there, you can see it's got one limb on the side. This used to have a big wedge in front with arms on both sides, again, that could flip 360 degrees around the robot, but as it's been taking a beating and based on the opponents that it's going on, he has changed the configuration slightly. So now he has a big chisel in the front. That chisel has proven to actually be a very good wedge against the vertical spinners, such as Exercise Restraint here with the big egg beater bar. He still does have one arm on one side, which he can use to right himself if he gets stuck, and also to try to get around his opponent if he should get pinned or anything else like that. Matthew's Exercise Restraint, big horizontal or a vertical spinner with that egg beater bar on there, and the rest of the body largely made of plastic, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem for him in this fight since he is going up against something that doesn't really have a damaging weapon on it. Instead, Limb Lifter is going to try to push his opponent out of the arena, or at least jam his weapon enough, tanking enough hits off of it such that it breaks itself. Brendan? All right, the drivers are ready. We will begin in 3, 2, 1, fight. Whew. Well, there's no restraint to that thing. It is spinning up very loud, very fast, going into the little arm on the front of Limb Lifter, chipping away at the edge of the chisel. I think it actually did manage to take a chip out of it already, which is impressive because I don't think the other robots were doing quite as much damage to that weapon so far. Now riding up on the chisel and into the little plastic mounting thing for it, but chewing away at the mounts on that chisel. Uh-oh, Matthew's upside down. He doesn't have control, and he has found himself out the blue push-out, so the win will go to Limb Lifter. Congratulations, Brendan. Oh, no. And that's how he gets his way out of the arena. Unfortunately for Matthew, looks like things were just not working well after that one hit. He was upside down, controls were a little bit weird, lots of momentum in the weapon kind of pushing him around the arena, and I think he just wasn't quite able to get control in time to avoid going out the side. Next we will have Kat with Dr. Horrible up against Andrew with Insanity. Both of these also Beetleweights, 3-pounders, both vertical spinners, I do believe. You'll find that this is actually a fairly common design for these robots, or at least as far as a weapon goes, because it's quite effective.
Do you guys want that cleaned out?
Yeah, it's plastic.
Andrew, did you want the arena cleaned out of the plastic?
Yeah, okay. Be a moment here. We just clean up the arena here. There is quite a lot of plastic that came off of Limb Lifter's chisel there. So in the red corner here, you can see Kat taking the guard off of her weapon. This is Dr. Horrible. And you can see that it's already taken quite a bit of damage so far, but it's held up all the same, still in our tournament, and is going up against Andrew in the blue corner with Insanity, who has a narrower but taller blade on the front of his, also an egg beater design. And you can see a lot of common similarities between these things. They've got these dual-fingered wedges on the side. That's to try and get the opponent up into the weapon and to provide some protection to the sides of the weapon. And other than that, very common to have just that box on the back with a couple of wheels, and that's all you need to drive that massive weapon around. Drivers are ready, so we will start in 3, 2, 1, fight. Both spinning up very quickly here. You can see Dr. Horrible bouncing around, and oh goodness, Insanity has hit the back of her and has taken an entire chunk out of the back of the frame, again directly into the weapon, sending Dr. Horrible up into the air. Kat having a little bit of trouble getting control of it. She's upside down, now right side, but only for a second as Insanity keeps hitting the wedge fingers on the edges there. Now she is right-sided, so she's got some control, but weapon to weapon, Insanity seems to maybe has the faster one. Hard into the wheel there, taking a little bit of foam, but still controlled. And another hard hit from behind as more chunks come out, and into the wedge fingers. Again and again, Andrew's showing no mercy, hitting the weapons as much as he can. I think he wants to send her over the side, but so far he's just tearing it apart. It is still functioning, surprisingly. Look at this. All the way up into the ceiling, and now an entire wheel has come off as Insanity gets jammed underneath the robot. Dr. Horrible's weapon's still going, but she has no ability to drive at this point. So she's going to see if she can drive, but I don't know if Insanity's weapon's working. Oh, it is. He just had it ramped down. But without the count going, he wants to try and get in there, and Dr. Horrible's kind of going nowhere at the moment.
You can tap if you need. Yep. Buttons on the side.
All right, she's decided she is dead in the water. She doesn't want to take any more damage, so the win goes to Andrew with Insanity. Wow.
You hit the ceiling 4 times. I think that's a record.
I think, yeah, so Curtis, our organizer here, is saying 4 times we think she hit the ceiling there. That is a record. It's not uncommon to see somebody hit the ceiling, but my goodness, Insanity really is that. That weapon just kept connecting with the box frame there on Dr. Horrible and just kept sending it with all the power that it had. So these ones are not both vertical spinners. Megadon G is a very fast driving wedge bot with an actuated arm, although I'm not sure if that actuated arm is going to be working today. Took quite a bit of damage in earlier fights, so now he's just going to have a big, huge, heavy bar on the front. Hope that can tank some damage against the horizontal spinning blade of Low Blow, driven by Dirk. Low Blow so far in this series doing a great job of ripping its opponents apart. Very hard-hitting blade. And because it hits from the side, Megadon G is going to have to watch out because its armor is primarily on the front. That arm on there is not really meant to be used as armor. In fact, the arm on Megadon G is lighter than the weapon on that spinning weapon on Low Blow there. So he's not going to want to take too many hits on the side. Going to be a little bit tricky to try and make sure that it's the front wedge that is absorbing the energy, as he hopes to at least have Low Blow break his own weapon against himself and possibly even push him out the side. We'll see if Albert decides to keep that side push out open or not. Low Blow with the bright blue LED in there so we can tell that it's armed and ready. We definitely don't want to accidentally get in the way of that thing. And a big piece of titanium armor around the outside. Megadon G over in the red corner is apparently driving away on its own. It's become sentient. Watch out. The drivers are ready. Let's begin in 3, 2, 1, fight. And instantly Low Blow spins up to speed. Megadon G trying to find how to attack, and there you see the heavy wedge able to get underneath Low Blow's weapon, avoiding taking the damage, now pushing Low Blow into the wall, which is really not good for the wall or the weapon. Megadon G again hitting the weapon, his shield directly into that weapon. But he has had a wheel come off, and that has tilted him so that he's actually not on the ground. And Low Blow saying, you know what, I got to make sure I take out the other wheel. All right, unfortunately, without being able to show movement, Megadon G's got 10 seconds to get going, but I do believe that is going to be a knockout for him. And that is the end of it. The win goes to Low Blow. Congratulations, Dirk. And I can see the weapon on Low Blow very much bent. It was not going to be working for much longer, I don't think. But unfortunately for Megadon G, that wheel came off, and not much you can do about that. These things are loud and brash, and they tend to put holes in our ceilings. We'll see what happens with the first one, with Brandon driving Reckoning against David's Unknown Avenger. In the previous round of fights here, Reckoning absolutely wrecked Metroid, or Utopia. I always get them confused. Utopia put a lot of grind into it, sent it flying a lot of times over and over again. This is a surprisingly hardy spinner on this thing. A very well-designed bot on behalf of Brandon. And it's going to be going up against David's Unknown Avenger. Now, Unknown Avenger doesn't look like it should be all that dangerous, but at the same time, it's been very effective at tanking hits. It's fast and maneuverable, and David's a great driver, so he's been able to avoid taking big hits off of that, off spinning drums against the previous opponents, including against the previous fight with Utopia. So definitely able, seems to be quite capable against these vertical drum spinners. But we'll see what appears to be the most vicious of the vertical drum spinners, Reckoning. We'll see how he can do against that one right now. So in the red corner here, you can see Brandon powering up the Reckoning, or just Reckoning. Who needs a the? It's only one word, that's all that matters. This thing is a very capable vertical drum spinner. And over in the blue corner, David has the Unknown Avenger with its plastic arched finger thing, basically a self-righting mechanism, and a big, huge, heavy wedge on the front for tanking those hits from the drum spinners. He's got his side push out open as well because that's how he's hoping to win this match, is by getting around his opponent and pushing him out the side. We're ready to go in 3, 2, 1, fight. And you can hear Reckoning coming up. My goodness, does that thing go to high speeds. But he doesn't need all of it as he's hitting into the hard steel wedges on the front of Unknown Avenger, but then gets around behind and hits him in the back. David's trying to use the self-righting. There it goes. He gets himself back upright, and now he's underneath of Reckoning, where he's not able to do nearly as much damage. Oh, running into the weapon there, and it's a good grab on those wedges. Both times he's getting into that corner. This is working a lot better than the other spinners have against Unknown Avenger, as he gets a hard hit. Chunks of those screws are coming out of something. That might actually be a problem for Reckoning, as it's now putting those screws into its weapon. But it is hitting hard on the front of Unknown Avenger, but that's not going to stop David from running into him. He really needs to get behind him and push him out, but that's going to be hard. Reckoning is both hard hitting and fast driving. And again, another hard hit there from Reckoning. So it sounds now has some stuff grinding underneath and in the weapon. Uh-oh, and David's not moving. Unknown Avenger is dead in the water. Reckoning's waiting to see if he gets moving so he can take another hit at him, but after that last hit, something stopped functioning. Hits hard. That's going to be the end of it. The win goes to Brandon with Reckoning. Another victim as he hit so hard so many times that something just stopped working. And something's really starting to sound rough in Reckoning there too. Like I can see some big chunks out of the teeth on it. Definitely some stuff bent, but you know what? It hits hard enough that it can last through those hits. The next Beetleweight we'll have coming up, again, Brandon will be driving Excalibur for this one. So we'll give him a minute to get everything switched out, and Andrew will be coming in with Insanity. So Brandon's Excalibur is a different kind of robot. You'll notice a very similar style of workmanship, but it does not have a big drum on the front. Instead, it has long wedge-like teeth that are hinged, meant for going up against other sorts of drum spinners. And he'll need that going up against Insanity, which is exactly that. This is using what we would call an egg beater bar. You're in the other corner. Using an egg beater bar, which is kind of an easier way of manufacturing what is otherwise a drum. Still a fast spinning vertical spinner. Hits very hard. This one especially has been hitting very hard. And again, fast driving robot. And Andrew, a very accomplished driver. So Excalibur, very dense, low to the ground, but it's got large wedges on the front. This one, he's able to switch out for different kinds. So these ones he's got here, these triangular wedges, are concave in the front. The rounded shape meant to try to basically capture the weapon on that vertical spinning drum and just let it ease around it, right? Not actually catching on the bot, not tossing or anything like that. Just rubbing against, making a bunch of noise, but not doing any considerable damage. In the meantime, Excalibur is a very capable pusher. So what he's going to want to do is get either behind his opponent or even, frankly, right out in front. Doesn't matter with those big blades on the front. He's going to want to just try to slowly but surely push his opponent into the outside area. Drivers are ready. Judges are ready. We will begin in 3, 2, 1, fight. And listen to that thing spin up as immediately Excalibur goes in and just captures him against the corner there. So the idea here is he can hold him for up to 10 seconds. After that, he's got to let go. But not only does that help delay the fight a little bit, it also gives him points in control should this go to a judge's decision. And you can see Insanity really trying to get in there. Oh my goodness. One good catch of the weapon on the tines of that front end, and Brandon is just like, I ain't even mad, bro. That was a great hit. Congratulations, Andrew, with Insanity.
Dennis's problem now.
As Brandon says, he's Dennis's problem now. Andrew looking set to take over the Beetleweight category. Speaking of which, we'll go on to the last one here with Brendan, not to be confused with Brandon. Brendan with Limb Lifter up against Dirk with Low Blow. Low Blow also has been doing very well in this competition. It is a horizontal spinning bar that hits very hard. And Limb Lifter so far taking a bit of a beating, but holding on. It is looking like it might be held together with hopes and dreams, but I think he's hoping that he might be able to outlast Low Blow's heavy hits. Limb Lifter, a rather unique design. It's got arms on both sides that can spin 360 degrees around. And he can change what he puts on the front end of this thing. So here, he's got a split wedge-like thing where he's got some fiberglass running over top of what I do believe are aluminum pieces. And as you can see, Limb Lifter does exactly what it says it can do. It can be useful as a lifter, also very good at flipping him over or getting him out of tight situations. It's very difficult to get this robot stuck because it can simply flail its arm around until it lands back on its wheels. And it looks like Brendan is leaving his door open and in hopes to be able to push his opponent out.
Yeah. Debouncing's not very good. Ready for judges, Travis?
I'm ready.
All right, everybody's ready. Here we go. We're going to begin in 3, 2, 1, fight. And low blow spinning up heavy here. You can see how much it jerks the robot around, just firing up that gigantic weapon. Interesting approach here. Limb Lifter going in with the arm up, using the heavy wedge armor on the front of it to tank the blow, and then using the arm to try to grip low blow. I don't think he wants the arm getting into the weapon because it's going to be the softest spot on the robot. One thing he's going to want to do is try to push low blow away, getting his weapon up against the steel walls, because those might as well tank the blows for him as low blow catches the arm on the front of Limb Lifter, sending it hard into the plexiglass walls there. Not plexiglass, Lexan, I should say, polycard. And you can see it chipping away at the fiberglass on the top of the arm of Limb Lifter there. Low blow's steel blade hitting hard. Limb Lifter getting underneath low blow, wedging him up against the wall. Slowly, as he's sliding down on the arm, he's grinding a little bit on the top of the arm. There he goes, comes loose, bangs into the wall a couple of times. That noise is just hitting the Lexan on the side, and yet still such a heavy blow. 2 minutes left to go. Limb Lifter taking control of the situation here, driving low blow into the wall again and again, up against the steel part of the wall. He really wants low blow to break himself on that wall, wear out the blade, bend it, whatever he can do. Every one of those hits is very hard on the belts and the motors and everything else in there, and any one of those hits could spell disaster for the weapon. So he really wants to be using that to hit his opponent, not to be hitting hazards and walls and all the rest of it. As Limb Lifter getting underneath and once again directing him around. Excellent control being shown so far by Limb Lifter, and really avoiding a lot of big nasty hits as low blow hits the hazard, and again flipping over and out the side, and Limb Lifter wins. Congratulations, Brendan. Very well done. Very well deserved. My goodness. It was all he could do to avoid getting obliterated. Yeah. Brendan is not going to pass out by holding his breath any longer. We're going to have Andrew with Insanity up against Dennis with Utopia.
I didn't realize you're so mean to small children.
Insanity and Utopia, both hard-hitting vertical spinners. Both have done very well so far. Dennis's Utopia, long feared as a multiple winner of our combat events here in Saskatchewan, where Andrew, hailing from Ontario, has brought Insanity in, and that thing is fast and powerful. We're going to see if he can beat best one of our best vertical spinners in just a moment here, after we do a quick cleanup of the arena. Again, you can see both of these things, very large spinning weapons on the front, both vertical spinners. Insanity has what we would call a egg beater bar. So it's a flat piece of metal that's been hollowed out on the inside, so all the mass is towards the outside, where it will gain the most moment of inertia, pack the most punch when it makes a hit. And the big drum over there on Utopia in the blue corner, a little bit harder to machine, but a little bit more balanced and more effective at hitting, delivering a blow. Everybody is in and ready. Both competitors giving each other a thumbs up so we can start in 2, 1, fight. And look at both of those things. Such a noise as they go toe-to-toe, weapon to weapon. Insanity hitting into the side. Uh-oh, and a wheel has already come off an Insanity. That is not good. He can kind of move himself around with the momentum of the weapon as well as the one other wheel, but he's going to be a lot worse off as Utopia gets a good grab on the weapon and sends Insanity up against the wall, nearly putting it out. Andrew wiggling his way over. He wants to try and get towards Utopia, but he doesn't want to do it with the broad side of the robot where it's going to be the most susceptible. And Dennis bringing Utopia over, trying to say, I know exactly where you're headed. And there goes the other wheel. He won't be able to move anymore. Without any wheels, he is dead in the water, and he is tapping out. That is going to be the end of it for him. Congratulations, Dennis and Utopia! 2 solid hits, 2 wheels gone, and he rips his opponent to shreds. The next Beetleweight we have for you is Brendan's Limb Lifter up against Pierre's Wilson. In the previous round here, Limb Lifter surprisingly manages to squeak out a win against Utopia, or against Low Blow, I should say.
Oh, which one was it? Utopia? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was a very unexpected match, but thankfully he was able to tank a lot of hits against Low Blow, long enough for Low Blow to find himself getting thrown out of the arena. He now goes up against Pierre's Wilson, which is a vertical spinner this time, which itself has made a somewhat surprising run through the ladder, as its plastic outer body actually holding up well against some of the other spinners that we've seen today. To make matters even more interesting, both of these guys joining us from Edmonton. So Edmonton coming in and working their way through our ladder. Thank you very much for them to showing up today to our Canadian National Championships. We have people from all over North America joining us, so thank you to all of our builders and drivers for coming out here for this event. Limb Lifter in the red corner here, you can see this one again, he's changed the configuration from the last fight, so he has his anti-spinner chisel on the front, which has been surprisingly effective against spinners. And instead of having 2 arms, he only has 1, which he can use as a self-righting mechanism, or in this case, a self-unrighting mechanism. It'll eventually, this is like that creepy broken doll your sister had that kind of wiggled around. I feel sorry for this robot. It'll eventually work. 30% of the time, it works every time.
It just needs to be hit a couple times. So
Yeah. A couple of hits from Wilson and it'll buff it right out, I'm sure. All right, Brendan with Limb Lifter in the red corner, Pierre with Wilson in the blue corner. We will start in 3, 2, 1, fight. And the drum coming up on Wilson there. Not quite a straight shot as he gets around the side of Limb Lifter. Limb Lifter trying to get to the side of Wilson, of course. He wants a pushing match. You can see he's left his push out open, but Wilson driving into him a little bit up on the wedge and just kind of grinding away slightly at the aluminum front and hard up on the chisel there and into the plastic handle that is the support for it, now into the sides of the body, nicking away at that aluminum. What he's really hoping for is to hit it at a rather high speed, like he just did that hazard there, because then the teeth will really engage and toss his opponent. But with light bumps on the side, there you go, a nice good grab in the corner, chucking Limb Lifter up in the air, who falls nicely clean on his wheels again. And Wilson, bit of a pushing match, trying to get into the corner there of Limb Lifter. You can see once again, if he can hit him just right, he'll throw him into the air and possibly out of the arena. I think that's largely what he's hoping to do, because otherwise this big brick is kind of hard to damage. 2 minutes left to go. Continuing to grind away on the aluminum on the outside there. Now hitting on the side of the of that little wedge on the front. A good idea. Might be able to break it off if he hits it just right, although at this point, unfortunately, he keeps getting bounced weapon straight into that hazard, and again going over the hazard. Trying to go in for another run, but narrowly misses going in at. Hitting the corners of the frame, those nice square corners will really grab nicely on the weapon, but you can see that chisel going into the weapon, holding it back because the chisel is on. Ooh, a big chunk came off of the plastic holding that chisel on, but lots left. Because that chisel is on a hinge, the whole thing just kind of flips back harmlessly anytime it takes a big hit from Wilson's big spinning drum on the front there. Limb Lifter maybe having a little bit of trouble controlling itself, kind of spinning around in one spot as Wilson waits for the right time to strike, and there he goes for it. Unfortunately, the edge of his wedge thing holds him, and now a nice hard hit on the corner and then into the side, jamming up against him. The weapon is stuck. 52 seconds, and there he goes. Gets out of it, spins the weapon again, now putting Limb Lifter on its back. Limb Lifter looking rather helpless, but Wilson not stopping any attacks here. Another hard hit on the side, flipping him back up right ways, and Limb Lifter limping along. He is not moving. He's going to get counted out, but you know what? Wilson's going in for another hit. He's got 30 seconds still on the clock. I don't know if he's worried that Limb Lifter's going to get away on him, or just wants to get as much damage as he can before the later rounds. 20 seconds still to go. Pierre lining up another hit for Wilson, and another one on the side. I can see some chunks of aluminum coming off. but the ref is very clear that there's nowhere that Limblifter's going. Wilson just keeps hitting him. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that'll be the end of the fight. Down to time. Congratulations to both drivers. This will now go to a judge's decision. And it will be a question of damage, aggression, and control shown throughout the match. Definitely some damage showing on Limblifter as it is largely unable to move at the end of that fight. And aggression basically comes down to who's going after who, and control a matter of who is able to control the movement of who. So sticking them in the corner, pushing them around, basically keeping them going the opposite direction of where they wish to be going. And it is unanimous. The win will go to Wilson. Congratulations, Pierre. All right, these are the 3-pound robots, the Beetleweights, also the B-side finals here. Dennis has Utopia over in the red corner, a very hard-hitting vertical drum spinner. And over in the blue corner, David, you can see driving around Unknown Avenger, which so far has done very well at holding up against these vertical spinners, surprisingly so. It's got very heavy steel plates on the front. You can see the 2 wedges as well as the plate in between them. And it seems to be just about the right size to get around a lot of the spinners that are out there, although Utopia is a bit wider in the front than some of the others, so might be a little bit difficult. Dennis closing up his push out there. On each side of the arena, you will notice there's a door that they can open up. That is what we call the push out, and each contestant it's up to them whether they want it open or closed for the fight. If you're a pusher and your goal, you're hoping to win by pushing your opponent out of the arena, you'll want yours open. Whereas if you're a vicious attacker like the Utopia here, you want yours closed to make sure that the fight lasts long enough that you can destroy them. All right, the B-side final, Dennis versus David. 3, 2, 1, fight. And you can hear Utopia coming up to speed fairly quickly here. Dennis was saying earlier he's having a bit of trouble with the electronics in there, so not going to be as high a speed as it's been previously throughout these matches, but he's hoping that it won't be absolutely necessary against Unknown Avenger. Thankfully, it won't be a speed of who's got the harder hitting weapon. As long as he can make some good hits and take the opponent apart, he doesn't have to be the fastest or the hardest hitting. Getting underneath of Unknown Avenger there, he was pushing Utopia up against the corner, trying to pin him a bit, directing him now over to the red hazard. Wants to get him towards that blue push-out or into the red hazard, but not quite able to as they're getting into a bit of a pushing match. And Utopia is the stronger pusher, it would seem, for a moment. But nah, David says, no way at all. I'm going to push him right back into that red hazard. Now pinning him from the side into the wall, over into the red corner, across the wall towards the blue closed hazard or push-out. And now getting around in front of the weapon, a good hard hit on one of the wedgelets there. Oh no, bouncing off the blue hazard into the weapon of Utopia. But David's able to right Unknown Avenger using that arm thing on top, the finger, whatever you want to call it, a chunk of something coming off one of the robots. I think it's a bit of tape or latex on the wheels there by Unknown Avenger. Utopia ramping up the speed. He wants a harder hit for the next one. He is rubbing on those wedgelets on the front, but they are doing a great job of holding the weapon away so that Unknown Avenger can drive him around the arena. He's trying to get him towards that blue push-out, but that's not going to be easy. Dennis is a very capable driver as well with an hour or a minute and a half to go in the fight. Unknown Avenger ramming Utopia up against the wall once again. Wedging underneath him, Utopia's weapon up in the air, unable to do any damage from there. And that was a big nut that just came off of something. Uh-oh. That was off the end of the weapon of Utopia. That shaft is now only held in on one end. That is not good. It may only be able to survive another fight or two. I can see the shaft is making its way partly out. 1 minute to go. Chunks of something coming off there. Utopia spinning down a bit, still running, but not at full speed at all. As there's a big pushing match again over by that blue hazard. Unknown Avenger wants to take advantage of the situation. This is to get the B-side final. He's pushing him over towards the blue push-out. He's close. Dennis trying to figure out where do I go from here. His shaft hanging out over an inch. I can't believe that the drum's even still spinning that way. It is not held in on one end. And ramping up on top of Unknown Avenger once again. 30 seconds still to go. Of course, Utopia doesn't want to spin the weapon down because that's his chance at winning this fight. But at the same time, he may not have a weapon for much longer. It is still spinning. 20 seconds left on the clock. Unknown Avenger hitting him from the side again, pushing him harmlessly out of the way. so that he can't use the weapon against him. Over towards the blue push-out. He's very close. He's lined up for it. 10 seconds. Big pushing match by the edge here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. That's the end of the fight. Back off. My goodness. A story of survival here, as Unknown Avenger is able to keep it together, not getting beat up too badly by Utopia, but Utopia barely able to keep its weapon in. This goes to a judge's decision now. We have 3 judges, and they judge based on 3 categories: damage, aggression, and control, shown throughout the match. This is going to be a tough decision, I think. There's definitely some chunks coming off of Unknown Avenger. The weapon on Utopia coming apart. Still working, though. Very important. And a lot of pushing on both sides. It is a close one, but unanimous. Unknown Avenger is the winner. Congratulations, David! The winner of the B-side final. He will now be going on to match the A-side final winner, or the A-side final, where he's going to have to win twice if he wants to take the whole thing. All right, Reckoning versus Unknown Avenger is coming up next. All right, Beetleweight, first of 2 matches, potentially, with Reckoning coming from the A side and Unknown Avenger coming up from the B side.
Great job. That was amazing.
Once again, Reckoning has been absolutely wrecking opponents, which is why he's made it to the final where he is. Unknown Avenger holding up very well against vertical spinners like the one he's about to face off against. Managed to make it through the fight with Utopia, a very similar looking bot. Hopefully he can fare as well against Reckoning here, but it is going to be very difficult. In the blue corner, David driving Unknown Avenger with that big curved finger arm on front, usable as a self-righting mechanism, as well as bopping his opponent on the head. And very large steel wedges on the front there, meant to hold off those vertical spinners and tank as many hits as it can until it has a chance to push it out the side or allow them to break themselves. Big vertical spinner on the front of Reckoning, hoping to wreck his opponents. Everybody's ready. It'll start in 3, 2, 1, fight! And oh my goodness, right up to full speed. And ramping back down as he tries to get a good position, but look at this. Unknown Avenger around the side of him, taking those steel wedges and using them to direct his opponent into the blue hazard now. Hard, straight into the weapon, into the backside goes into the weapon, bouncing off of the blue hazard. Looks like Unknown Avenger holding up well, even though it got hit in a spot it did not want. And now trying to divide position. A fast, hard ramp into Reckoning, flipping it upside down. And a hard one into the wall, bouncing off 3 walls. This is not good for Reckoning. Thankfully, the weapon's still working, everything driving, grinding away on the top of that steel wedge. But look at this, Unknown Avenger fast and able to tank those hits and just bashing him into the wall, trying to use his weapon against him, stalling it out, hitting the walls, doing whatever can he grab him from this position? I don't know. He is going to pin him in the side here for up to 10 seconds if he can, or at least hit him again and again to try and flip him on end perhaps. But it looks like he's also trying to push him over towards the blue push-out. Look at this, slowly making his way over. But Reckoning is not going to be hurt that easily as he has full and capable drive. And Brandon is certainly a capable driver himself, coming over with the weapon spun back up again, says it's going to take more than that to stop this thing. Going again into that heavy steel wedges on the front of the Unknown Avenger. Avenger getting underneath him, flipping him back over again, upside down once more. Uh-oh, smoke is coming out of Unknown Avenger. Time is running out for him, I think. I don't know what's smoking, but that's not good for him. I think he had drive issues now. Yep. Things are not functioning the way they ought to be. Another hard hit on the side this time. Not as maneuverable as he used to be. That was his big advantage as Reckoning starts coming in and hitting him hard with that weapon on the backside. On the front left corner, Brandon getting seriously into it now. He's got to hit this one good, ramping it up. This is his chance. 1 minute left to go. He can get a knockout now that he's not nearly as maneuverable. Unknown Avenger holding in there despite having only one side working. Look at that hit. Coming in hard and again straight into the wedges. 3 times the charm. 4 now. Reckoning just bashing him again and again, but cannot disable or throw this robot out of the arena. Unknown Avenger tanking like no robot I have seen against the hardest hitting spinner that we have here today. Less than 30 seconds to go. He really wants to stay in this fight for one more round so he can take the title. But I don't know if he's going to have the opportunity, reckoning getting hooked on top of him with 20 seconds left in the match. They are stuck on each other. So we will pause the fight here and unstick them. Only 13 seconds left on the clock. Oh my goodness. Once we separate them, they will have 13 more seconds. Hopefully 10 seconds to breathe in between. David walking around going, what have I done with my life? He just has to hold on for 13 more seconds and the judges may have mercy on him.
No moving.
David clearly lost his mind as he's brandishing a banana against Brandon.
Tap in when you're ready.
We'll start again in 3, 2, 1, fight! 13 seconds left on the clock. Uh-oh. What? Oh my goodness. What has happened? He is moving. He might fall over. Time is up. That's the end of the fight. Oh my goodness. Well done to both of them. What a way to finish this. Going to a judge's decision. Wow. Is there damage? Absolutely. Aggression and control, both sides. Who is going to be the winner? We will have to see. The judges will have to decide this one. David coming over saying one way or another, I owe you a handshake, because my goodness, what a fight. Can't wait to see what the judges think of this. That was crazy. I really have never seen a robot tank so many hits off such a hard-hitting spinner, especially after smoking like that. But there's no question that he did take a lot of hits. Reckoning did quite a bit of damage against him. It is unanimous, though. The win will go to Reckoning, the champion of the Beetleweights. Brandon, congratulations. My goodness, he really had to earn that one. David was not going to let him walk away with it, no matter how badly he'd gotten beat up in that fight. Thanks for joining us here for Kilobots 40, presented to you by the Saskatchewan Combat Robotics Club, here on SaskTel maxTV Local on Demand.
If you have program ideas that you'd like to see on maxTV Local on Demand, write us at max.local@sasktel.com.